Chodesh Tov, Rabotai. I want to tell you about something that happened here a few times already, because now it's getting darker earlier. So what's going is that we're doing sometimes the Mincha after Shkia, like today also, a little bit after Shkia we went. Because Shkia today was about 4:36, so now it's almost 4:50. So, we went past Shkia. So also there was a time, this week that we didn't have a minyan. And it was Sunday, right? Yeah, on Sunday. We didn't have minyan. So we had to wait, and somebody came late. So it was already past the time of Tzedek Kochavim according to the Geonim. So I want to explain to you, right? How do we do this? How is it that we prayed Mincha like that? Because the truth is, it was already past Tzedek Kochavim. Not even past Shkia, it was past Tzedek Kochavim. So I'll explain to you how this works. We already spoke about this, a few times, but we have to now discuss, right, this particular issue about why is it that we're allowed to do this, and is it something which has a source, and proper theory here going on. So let me explain to you how it works. As we already said, right, several times, there's two shitot, two opinions about when the night comes. There's the Geonim and then there's the Rabbenu Tam. The Geonim is also Rashi. Rashi also agrees with them. That's how it's brought down in Bet Yosef. It's brought down as Rashi and Tosfot. So Rashi is the Geonim, and Tosfot is Rabbenu Tam. Same thing, right? This is the same opinion. So what's the difference between one and the other? The difference is, right, that there's two Gemarot. One says that, like the Geonim, which is that 13 and a half minutes after Shkia, after sunset, it's already night, because the stars coming out at that time, right? The three medium-sized stars are coming out, and therefore it's night. That's one opinion according to the Gemara. There's another Gemara which says like Rabbenu Tam, which is that it's Arba Mil, 72 minutes after the Shkia is that when the night comes, much later, right? So there are some rabbis who mentioned, have commented about this. They go out, to the street. They look in the Shemaim, in the horizon, and they see, right, that when does it get dark? Like the Geonim or like the Rabbenu Tam? So the truth is, it's not this or that, right? It's somewhere in the middle. That's what it really is. If you go out, 13 and a half minutes, it's not totally dark yet. If you go out, look in Shemaim, look in the sky. But if you go out like 15 minutes after Shkia, even though it's not Rabbenu Tam yet, it's already totally dark. You know what I mean? So why is it that, the Metziut doesn't match Rabbenu Tam or doesn't match also the Geonim? Doesn't really match either one. And some people say, well, the reason why the rabbis went like Rabbenu Tam in Europe, Rabbenu Tam was in Europe, right? He was in France, right? It's because over there, the horizon is very north. So it gets dark very late, Like if you go to Tzarfat, France, right? Over there, it gets dark very late there,
Even worse.
England is worse. Okay, okay. Okay, so you know what it is, right? In Tzarfat, in Paris, it's like Shabbat goes out. You know what time? Like 9:30, I don't know, 10, I don't know, whatever it is. I'm not exactly sure. I never was there on Shabbat. But it's very late, Like here, okay, we can tolerate it. But over there, it's like 10 o'clock, 10:30. It's crazy. So because it's very north, Paris. Same thing with Poland, right? And Moscow, right? Moscow. These are very north, and it gets dark very late. So they say, some rabbis, they say, oh, why they went like Rabbenu Tam over there in Europe? Because it's north, so it matches more with Rabbenu Tam, right? And the reason why they did in Eretz Israel, in the Middle East, they did like the Geonim is because over there it gets dark earlier, so they did like that. That's what they wanted to say, but the truth is, this is not correct. This theory is not correct. And I'll explain to you why that is, because Maran, right, Maran Bet Yosef, Shulchan Aruch, in Siman Reish Samech Aleph, Seif Bet, he paskins like Rabbenu Tam, even though he lived in Eretz Israel. So he was living in Eretz Israel, but he paskins like Rabbenu Tam. But you're going to tell me, well, wait a second, but over there it gets dark early, so you should have done like the Geonim. No, it doesn't matter. That's not the issue. You don't look in Shemaim, and try to see, which doesn't match. It matches Rabbenu Tam or it matches Rashi, the Geonim. No, it doesn't match either one. That's not the issue. You know what I mean? So then why is it that it doesn't match? So the answer is because, says, right, Tosfot, Penei Yoshua, two Rishonim, they say that it's not, we don't know how to see the Kochavim, the stars. Our eyes are not trained for that. So therefore, when we go outside, we don't know what to even look for. This is a problem. That's why we don't see them, on the proper time. There's also another issue, which is that now, because we have the electricity grid, a lot of chashmal, electricity going on, So because of that, there's a lot of light, in the street. And that's why you cannot see the kochavim, you cannot see the stars, because the light, blocks you from seeing it. There's no contrast. But if you go let's say, to the upstate, the Catskills, over there, there's not much light there, it's dark. So over there you see the stars much better, when you go upstate, right? Because it's clear over there and there's not much light. So that's why you see it earlier over there. So really, has nothing to do with this. We just don't know how to see. We don't have the expertise. So therefore, you cannot just go outside and look for stars, and say, oh, okay, I see it, okay, Shabbat is finished, okay. What do you see? You don't know how to see. That's the thing, We're not expert in that. We're not trained for that. So you cannot go by that, because of all these things that we mentioned. Also, another thing, right? That in the cities, like in New York, what do we have? We have smog, right? Smog blocks, the light of the stars. So you can't really see it so good. Another thing, in upstate Catskills, you don't have smog over there. It's clear, nice and clear. Mountains, right? Mountain air. But here we have smog, so we don't see, So there's many reasons why we cannot look by the eyes, So what do we have to look by? By the watch, by the clock. 13 and a half minutes is Geonim. 72 minutes is Rabbenu Tam. But here's the thing, right? We spoke about this, me and my friend, right? Rabbi Tam. The question is like this, right? When we say 72 minutes or 13 and a half minutes, are we talking about Shal Zmaniot, right? Are we, the halachic times, halachic hours? Or are we talking about regular hours? So he told me, there's this one rabbi, I heard that he went back to Israel now. He's not here anymore.
No, he's not. He's going back and forth.
I heard he went back.
His mother
Right.
was feeling well.
No, but they told me in this kollel that he mamash went back. He went back. Whatever, I don't know, whatever it is. Anyway, this rabbi, that he was here before, he said, that we can go like the regular hours, to do Rabbenu Tam, which is lenient, in the summer, but the truth is, Maran, I saw Rabbi Shalom in his work Yebi Omer, Chelek Bet, over there, Siman Kaf Aleph. He says over there that no, when we calculate Rabbenu Tam, we have to go according to Shal Zmaniot, right? The halachic hours, not regular hours. And Moshe Feinstein also said that in Igrot Moshe. He also writes that. So what this rabbi said was, that's why I say, not reliable what he said. Excuse my candor, but he's not correct what he said. This rabbi, we have to go according to Shal Zmaniot. So what does that mean? In the summer, it comes out Rabbenu Tam to be like 90 minutes. It's very long. 90 minutes. Can you imagine? It's a very long day. So what does that mean? In the summer, right, the Shkia is 8:30 over here in New York, right? So that means we have to wait till 10. Can you imagine? It's crazy, right? But that's what it is. So, okay, whatever, right? As we said, right, in Tzarfat, in France, it's like 11 o'clock. It's even 1 hour more. Crazy. Okay, anyway, right, we discussed that a little bit. Explain to you a little bit. But here's the thing, right? Now the question is like this. The minhag, especially by the Sfaradim, is to do like the Geonim, We do like the Geonim. We do everything early, and we try to finish everything early. This is a minhag by us now. Even though Maran and the Shulchan Aruch Paskind, like the Rabbenu Tam, and also the Ramah, goes like that. And also who else, right? Says Maran, Rabbi over there, in that Tshuva, in Yebi Omer, he says, Rova Poskim. Most of the Poskim go like Rabbenu Tam. It's not only Rabbenu Tam, one person. Most of the Rishonim and most of the Poskim go like Rabbenu Tam. That's what he says. He brings them there. He brings them. So the truth is, that definitely the Ikar, the Poskim said, right? The Ikar halacha is really like Rabbenu Tam. Because most of the Poskim, Shulchan Aruch, Ramah, go like Rabbenu Tam. Oh, what are you talking about? Right? So the truth is, we have to, that's why Maran used to say, Rabbi Shalom, Rabbi, that when it comes to Shabbat, to go out of Shabbat, you should do like Rabbenu Tam. Because you have to be sure, it's Isus Kila. It's dangerous, you Chayav Mital, lo aleinu, right? If a person does melacha. So you have to go like Rabbenu Tam. If it's Deoraita, if it's something which is from the Torah. But which is something from the Rabbanan, we already said it can be lenient. But the thing is, here's the thing, right? Now my question is, are we allowed to do Mincha after the time of Geonim, in the time of Rabbenu Tam? Or is it already too late? So he writes in the Yalkut Yosef, not to do this. He says, no, if you do like this, like bracha vatala. That's what he says. Right? In Siman Reish Lamed Gimel, right? Laws of Mincha over there, he says. Over there, Yalkut Yosef. He says, no, it's like bracha vatala. But the truth is, that he's contradicting what Maran said, right? In Yebi Omer. You know what I mean? The Maran said that Rov Poskim, most of the Poskim, what like Rabbenu Tam, and also Maran Shulchan Aruch and Rama. So how can it be bracha vatala if all the most of the Poskim are going like Rabbenu Tam? How can it be such a? This cannot correct what he wrote there. You know what I mean? He must have a reason why he said that. He has his reasons. I'm not going to get into it now. But anyway, the point is, right, that technically speaking, what he said is not correct. Because most of the poskim go like Rabbenu Tam. So therefore, in the case of Shatat Chak, or B'diavad, where, there's no minyan or whatever, something like this, right? Or a person had some kind of he was very busy, and he got busy, he wasn't able to pray, So for sure, there's no question, a person is allowed to do like Rabbenu Tam, pray Mincha. Even though Yalkut Yosef says not like that, but he's not right, So, but here's the thing, right? He is right. What does that mean? I'll tell you why he is right. Because the minhag, as we said, right, by the Sfaradim, is not to do like this. So therefore, you shouldn't make like a minyan every day, like Rabbenu Tam, Asu, because it's against the minhag. Our minhag is to do like the Geonim. So we should try to do early, b'lechatchila. But b'diavad, when you missed it, why not to do like Rabbenu Tam? So what he says is do 2 tashlumin, do 2 arvit. That's what he says, don't do mincha. Do 2 arvit, because it's too late already to pray mincha. But the truth is, why not to do mincha if Rabbenu Tam, most of the poskim went like him. Shulchan Aruch and Rama, why not? B'shat atchat, b'diavad, when you have no choice, you can do. And that's the emet. Why do tashlumin? Tashlumin is not a good thing. It's b'diavad. It's like something when you have no other resort, you do tashlumin. You missed it. There was nothing. So therefore, Rabbatai, we shouldn't make regular minyanim or regular. A person should regularly every day. He should not pray like Rabbenu Tam. Because that's not a minhag. You know what I mean? And therefore, we have to do like the Geonim lechatchila. But b'diavad, if a person wasn't able, of course, he can do like Rabbenu Tam. What's the question, right? You have definitely have what to rely on. And Shalom Alisrael, what can we do, right? As we said, don't do it on a regular basis. Don't do it every day. This is not allowed. But here's the thing, right? I'll tell you this and we'll finish. Here's the thing. There is a difference in minhagim. As we said, right? The Sfaradim in our times, nobody does like Rabbenu Tam. The prayers, the tefillot, nobody does. Nobody does like Rabbenu Tam. The chatchila, right? So who does like Rabbenu Tam? Still, there are some keilot. You know who? The Hasidim. The Hasidim, they do like Rabbenu Tam. If you go to Flatbush, right, in about a half hour, there's still Tfilat Mincha over there. 40 minutes after Shkia, 50 minutes after Shkia. Flatbush.
So it's not a crime.
It's not a crime, it's a minhag. It's a minhag of Rabbenu Tam. Most of the poskim went like that. So that's what they do. If you go over there, you're going to see minyanim over there. They're going to say, they're going to say, Mincha, center. Right? They're going to say, come in. We need you for a minyan. They're doing like Rabbenu Tam. Why? Because that's the minhag. They've been doing this, how long? Hundreds of years. They didn't start yesterday or the day before. It's an old minhag, Rabbenu Tam. Old minhag. In Europe, everybody was doing like that. That's what it says in most of the poskim. So therefore, and also Maran, as we said, right? Shulchan Aruch also. He paskins like that. So therefore, over there, in places like this, they do like Rabbenu Tam, because that's their minhag from all the way back, hundreds of years. But here's the thing, let me tell you something interesting. What happened was that when the Hasidim came to Eretz Israel, they made aliyah, right? They started to come. When did they start to come, by the way? The Hasidim. The Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov, they were the first ones who came to Eretz Israel. He sent his Talmidim over there. So that's the first time that the Hasidim started to come to Eretz Israel. So what happened was, that they were doing like their minhag, in Europe. What does that mean? They were praying over there like Rabbenu Tam, mincha. So what happened, right? The Sfaradim over there, they saw them, what they're doing, They told them, I said, what are you doing over here? You came to our country over here. You got to change your minhag now. You gotta do like us. You coming, you're a foreigner. You have to adjust, yourself to us. We're the citizens over here. You're a visitor. You're coming, you're new visitor, right? So you got to do like us. So they pressured them, over there, to not to do like that. They said, over here we don't do like Rabbenu Tam. I'm sorry, So what happened? The Hasidim, they listened to them. So they stopped doing like Rabbenu Tam. over there in Eretz Israel. So now, because of this, in Eretz Israel, nobody does like Rabbenu Tam. Not the Sfaradim, not the Ashkenazim, not the Hasidim. Nobody does. That's why, there are some who say, since nobody's doing now in Eretz Israel like Rabbenu Tam, so you shouldn't do it. Yes, I agree. The Chatchila, as a minhag, every day to do it. Yeah, you should not. But Shatat Chak, when there's no choice, you didn't have a minyan or whatever, you weren't able to pray, you were busy. Of course you can do, once in a blue moon. The Chatpami, Arai. It's not something you do every day. So you're not breaking the minhag. When you break something, once in a while, the minhag, it's okay, because it's not, you're not doing it every day. So you don't need hatat nedarim, you don't need to all these kinds of things. You don't need. It's once in a while, Et la'asot la'Hashem heferu torotecha. Right, Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. Rabbi Chanan kashamer, sekadash Baruch Hu lo zechel Yisrael, lefi chal shir ba lahem Torah mitzvot, shenamar Adonai chafetz, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.